Sushila Krishnan and you're watching Primetime News on Channel News Asia. In the headlines, Sri Lankans vote for their next president in a highly personal contest filled with claims of violence and voter intimidation. China and Taiwan start cross-strait discussions amid improving ties to lay the foundation for a major trade pact. 5 lawmakers resign in Hong Kong in a high-profile push for universal suffrage in defiance of China. And the Singapore Airshow to launch a leadership summit and related forums to help boost the aviation industry. Well, voting has ended in Sri Lanka's bitterly contested presidential election. Turnout is set to be at least 60%. The poll opened.
Onboard navigation computer has received and launched flight plan from Project.
Now this is one good movie. I wonder what else is next.
This week on That's IT, streaming movies, TV programs, and music videos. They're not considered downloading activities, but is it legal? Apple just released the iPad to rival other notebooks. We find out what the hype is all about. And we pick up what we think is the best wireless router on the shelves. And in DIY It, we show you how you can turn your laptop into a wireless router.
Hello everyone, I'm Timothy Go, and That's IT begins right now. You know, watching international broadcast TV from wherever you are used to be a dream, but now it's a reality. So no more excuses for not watching That's IT, because you can catch Channel News Asia even when you're on the go.
Have you ever streamed a movie, music videos maybe, or even the news? No? Well, I believe all of us have watched videos on YouTube. 100 million videos are being viewed a day on YouTube. Riding on this trend, we are seeing more of such applications floating online. Who needs the humble TV set anymore when you can watch movies, TV serials, music videos, sports, and even your favorite news channel online? 31-year-old Isman uses such applications regularly. He usually streams documentaries, news, and how-to videos.
I use a lot of YouTube for how-to questions. Like, I want to find out how to cook pasta. Actually, I go on YouTube. Or I want to find out how to build something. I go on YouTube. So YouTube is actually a good way to actually learn a lot of information. On a society level, it's very good to be open to news beyond what's being presented to us through the local newspapers or even through the local TV channels. It's sort of like broadened this whole perspective.
There are many of such video sharing providers online. Many of these services are run via an application which needs to be downloaded to a computer. Reputable browsers like Mozilla Firefox even offers a free add-on called TV Fox. It allows users to view these channels straight off the browser. But the big question is it legal? Especially since these providers are airing content that doesn't belong to them.
In many cases, some of these video sharing providers will actually say that they haven't infringed copyright, and it's the end user that infringes copyright. All that they do is to provide a service for you to be able to record certain things or for you to have access to certain things and make reproductions. It is terribly complicated. I think because when you want to talk about the internet, technology is really, every day it's evolving, every day it's changing and improving, but the laws are struggling to keep up with it.
So does it mean that all of us who have been YouTubing are in big trouble?
The high risk of getting yourself into trouble, I think it hasn't translated into real life. You must also think that some of these works, which are owned by some of these copyright owners, they don't want to go and attack the very demographic that they're trying to attract.
It's not right to share something that's not yours. But then again, I mean, us being consumers, us being wanting to get things for free, we tend to generally like to share. But again, like, it's a very much a grey area on what exactly belongs to us and what exactly belongs to public consumption.
So the internet is a double-edged sword. I think that just proves our point. It could be used for good and could be used for absolute evil. So it depends on how we use it. And I think we need to figure out a way where we can use it legally and still contribute to society's growth and generational creativity.
YouTube has been sued many times by content owners over copyright infringement. But with the complications of such technology cases, it seems like these legal battles are nowhere near the end yet. And while these legal battles continue, it may seem like the online video streaming trend may just be here to stay for a little while longer. So the next time you intend to YouTube something, think twice before streaming any copyrighted materials online. Even if it is from a legal website, it may get you in trouble with the law. Coming up, speculations are true. It is a tablet. Find out how Apple makes you sit up and listen to what they have to say. Also, what is cloud computing? Will it be here to stay? We'll tell you more next.
Barack Obama on YouTube, not news, but the US president taking questions direct from his people over the video sharing site. Now that's a first. Details on Primetime News.
We're looking for a special lady. A woman who makes flying up the corporate ladder charming the world, or even running in heels look like a walk in the park. One whose passions in life motivate a new generation of women. If you know a fabulous upstart who fits these shoes comfortably, visit www.todayonline.com/Singapore Woman to make your nominations by the 7th of February. The Singapore Woman Award 2010, sponsored by Great Eastern and Robinsons. Brought to you by MediaCorp.
In the Far East, Kung Fu isn't just martial arts, but a term to mean master skills in any art form. It's well-deserved praise after years of seriously hard training. But in today's crash course world, can a novice achieve Kung Fu status overnight? Find out in Kung Fu Kitchen. 23rd February, Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. exclusively on Channel News Asia.
A stellar gathering of idols in an evening of musical splendor. Surya presents Surya Electra, featuring Siti Nurhaliza, Sarah Kila, Taufik Batisa, Hadi Mirza, Ramli Sarip, Anang, Hyrule, Fauzi, Najib Ali, Nurulaini, Sleek, Rancor, Maya, Kunjong, and many more. Celebrating 10 years of entertainment. Surya Electra, live Friday, 5th February, 8:30 p.m. only on Surya.
When a roving clinic hits the road, volunteers expect the unexpected. This week on House Call to Vietnam, 2-year-old baby Duan suffers from a condition that turns babies blue. A high-stakes operation is the only way to save her life. But it could take her parents a lifetime to pay. House Call, Wednesday at 7:30 p.m., exclusively on Channel News Asia.
This is Channel News Asia.
It's business.
All of us use laptops and smartphones now. Everybody uses a laptop and or a smartphone. And the question has arisen lately, is there room for a third category of device in the middle? We think we've got something that is. And we'd like to show it to you today for the first time. And we call it the iPad.
This was the moment diehard Apple fans have been waiting for. But for the longest time, Steve Jobs and his team at Apple remained hush-hush over the new product we now know as the iPad. In fact, That's IT was invited to San Francisco just a few days before the event, and all the invitation said was, come see our latest creation.
Well, I'm taking this opportunity to touch this iPad on your behalf for the first time, because who knows, this thing here might revolutionize personal computing the way the iPod did with music.
Indeed, looking at the sleek industrial design, this so-called iPod Touch on steroids offers so much more than a smartphone or a netbook.
True. When something exceeds your ability to understand how it works, it sort of becomes magical.
This magical tablet does what an iPod can do, and more. You can surf the web, read your favorite newspaper, play video games, watch movies in HD, listen to music, and read a book.
What you saw here was not something new in the sense that this cannot be done, but you saw it happen so flawlessly, so simply, almost like magic. That creates the enthusiasm for a product. I think, yes, it will have an impact on the industry.
And that exactly is what makes Apple and Steve Jobs the envy of his contemporaries. Months before the iPad launch, bloggers, the media, and Apple fans speculated on what the latest product would be. While over at Cupertino, not a word leaked. No confirmation, no denial, not a hint. This has always been Steve Jobs' battle plan. While other companies announce the development of a product or make prototypes to let experts try out, Apple lets experts speculate, build suspense, and hype. And then it makes a revelation. It is a strategy that can cut both ways, but it's a risk Apple is willing to take.
I think, in general, they've more than shown that they're able to live up to that hype. And a lot of it's also because I think they build this hype up themselves by not saying anything.
Sometimes silence is a lot of eloquence, right? So silence can be eloquent in its own right. We know the internet is a reverberation chamber. You say something, it is on a blog, and then the blog quotes another blog, which quotes another blog. So there's a lot of multiplier effect to the hoopla that gets created.
Netbooks aren't better at anything.
Steve Jobs, the man, is also said to carry some sort of a magical aura that others told me to expect when I am in his presence. Unfortunately, that aura didn't work on me, but it did to most of the other people at the event.
He created the idea of personal computing in that sense, number one. Years later, everybody had some kind of MP3 players. He came back and he created, in a market that was, not really there, he created an iconic product like the iPod. Then he looked at the mature market of phones. By the time the iPhone comes around, the sale around the world was almost of 1 billion phones a year, right? They were established players. So he comes into that market and redefines that market on how people interact with information and how people do things on the network. That kind of success builds a charisma.
He's about as good as anybody at selling his products and his company's vision. I think he's probably the best across multiple industries.
His battle with cancer and the company's ability to be an industry game changer adds to the mystique of Steve Jobs and the credibility of Apple. And with the new iPad, Apple once again opens the windows of opportunity for content developers to provide videos, games, and even literature. One of the more significant developments is Apple's iBook application, which links the device to its online e-book store. Apple currently has relationships with 5 publishers, and more are expected to hop on board. All 140,000 apps developed so far for the iPhone and the iPod Touch will be available for use on the iPad when it hits stores in less than a month in the U.S.
Another new phenomenon, also from this part of California, is cloud computing. Its creators say it will slash your IT costs in the office by half. So now, let's separate the cloud from the crowd.
Stanley Tay runs PurpleClick, a small startup company dealing with the ever-growing internet advertising sector. For small and medium enterprises, keeping operational costs down is key.
Back then when we first started the business, We're using Excel to collate and maintain our databases. But we realized that it was actually very cumbersome and not very time effective. So we're actually in the market looking for a CRM solution. So what we've seen here...
And that led Stanley to adopt cloud computing. But what exactly is cloud computing all about? Well, in a nutshell, cloud computing allows businesses of any size to embrace world-class infrastructure and applications without investing in IT software or hardware at all. All you really need is an internet connection and a web browser. Log into websites like Salesforce.com and you'll be able to manage critical business and customer information.
This is probably the most exciting area for a small and medium-sized business because what cloud computing basically is a utility model, and so it allows very small financial management consultancies, for example, to be able to leverage the same resources, the same business applications that Merrill Lynch are using.
What really attracts me about cloud computing is, firstly, you don't have to invest in the hardware, you don't have to invest in software, you don't have to invest in people to maintain the system, because everything is actually done by Salesforce themselves. What we do is only we have to pay on the subscription model. So it's pay per use or pay per user. So that itself became a very huge savings to me.
The savings may be humongous, but are companies using the cloud computing model putting client and company information at risk by contracting out the storage of sensitive data?
No, not at all. And I think, we have a lot of technical definitions around how we warrant the security of our customers. But probably the best reference point for us is that of the 70,000 odd customers that we have globally, every day more than 1,800 financial institutions rely on Salesforce.com to manage their customer information.
When we return, it is time to roll up your sleeves for DIY It, and we show you our wireless router pick in Gadgets War.
The Carlsberg Lunar New Year Roadshows met with an overwhelming response. Don't miss your chance to join our final roadshow at Bukit Batok East Block 280, February 6th at 7 p.m.
Barack Obama on YouTube, not news, but the US president taking questions direct from his people over the video sharing site. Now that's a first. Details on Primetime News.
Go to arbitration because you've made a positive decision not to go to court.
You need a number of key factors. Fundamental will be neutrality.
What we've been lacking until now are suitable custom-made premises to carry out international arbitrations.
Today, arbitration is the main method of resolving disputes where the parties come from different countries.
Where it can all end well is brought to you by Maxwell Chambers. When Cinderella turns into a nanny. A cold, ruthless lawyer. Can also become a shy admirer. Brand new Taiwanese idol drama, Down with Love. Premieres 6 February, Saturday 9 p.m. on Channel U.
The prestigious Lee Kuan Yew Global Business Plan competition is back for its 5th run. Officially launched on the 20th of January, the international event gives undergraduates a chance to showcase their business plans and entrepreneurial talents on a global stage.
What's special about this competition is that first it's aimed at younger students. They get hands-on counseling from skilled entrepreneurs and business people. And in the end, they have a chance to win really substantial venture capital funding to help them get their businesses started.
Registration is open to all full-time university undergraduates, college and polytechnic students, with up to $60,000 worth of cash prizes and business opportunities to be won. For more information and to participate, visit www.smu.edu.sg/LKY. This competition is organized by Singapore Management University, presenting sponsor HSBC, and the official media station, Channel News Asia.
In the last few years, internet speed has gotten so much faster and data plans have become so much cheaper. So there's really no more reason to let internet slow us down. So right now we're going to have a look at the best wireless routers in our Gadgets War.
Gadgets War.
For this test, we decided to narrow it down to 3 popular router brands: Linksys, D-Link, and Netgear. Each of them putting their latest model of N-series routers to the challenge. This test will focus on ease of use, stability, and signal strength of the routers. We will be testing these wireless routers using factory settings. First off, we tested the Linksys WRT160NL wireless router. Powered by Linux, the key features include its changeable external antennas and also a USB port for storage of files. Setting up the hardware is easy because it comes with a very simple to understand user instruction. And setting up a secured wireless network is also relatively straightforward due to its simple web interface. The first test is to see how stable and fast the wireless network works in a very short distance of 4.5 meters. Using a Fujitsu laptop that runs on an Intel 4965 AGN wireless adapter, we pinged the Linksys router to check for consistency. Over an amount of 10 packets sent, the result was at an average of 1 millisecond response. In that same distance, we then did a speed test by downloading a 47 megabyte file from a network computer. The result was 53.9 seconds, just under a minute for that file download. Next, the Netgear RangeMax Dual Band WNDR 3700. This wireless router also comes with a USB port for external storage, and all you need to do is type in /ReadyShare, and you can access your external storage from any computer connected to this network. The dual band function of this wireless router offers 2 signals, one being a standard 2.4 gigahertz signal and the other being a 5 gigahertz signal, which sadly doesn't provide better signal when connected to our laptop. The web interface, though, seems slightly friendlier than that of Linksys. The ping result for the 4.2 gigahertz signal was similar to that of Linksys, but it seems to be a little bit slower when it comes to file transfer. The download speed was 57.4 seconds for a 47 megabyte file. Last, we have the sexy-looking D-Link DIR 685 wireless router, which is more than a router. It offers features like 2 USB ports for external storage, a 2.5 hard disk slot, and a tiny 3.1-inch LCD, where you can stream Facebook photos, news, and many more through a Frame Channel website. Web interface for this router seems a bit complicated, but hopefully it will work as well as it looks. At a range of 4.5 meters, the average latency of the connection is 1 millisecond, and the speed of download is at 45.7 seconds. Now, this good looker does live up to expectations. This time we'll up the ante. We are going to pull the distance out to 12 meters with pillars and walls as barriers. We will see how these routers fare. We start off with the Linksys WRT160NL, and hopefully the dual antenna will give a boost to its signal strength. Ping result is in 5 milliseconds at maximum drop rate of 64 milliseconds, and transfer speed of the same 64 megabyte file is at 2 minutes and 51 seconds. That is almost 3 times slower compared to its earlier test. Now the Netgear Dual Band was the slowest in the 4.5 meter test, so let's see how it will fare when we turn up the heat. At 12 meters, the Netgear wireless router got a ping of 8 milliseconds, but the transfer speed of 46 megabyte is at an impressive 1 minute and 56 seconds. Netgear shifting to a higher gear and is now leading the pack. Now the big question is, will the D-Link DIR685 overtake Netgear and take top spot, or will it be able to even kick Linksys off the runner-up spot? First off, the ping test, 54 milliseconds, and things are looking good for the good-looking. Now for the crucial moment and the speed test of D-Link. It is, it is still going, but we give up. Long distance may not just be an event the DIR685 is comfortable with. So our Gadgets War winner is, the drum roll please, the Netgear Dual Band WNDR 3700, although my heart really tells me to go on with the good looker.
It can get really frustrating when you can't detect Wi-Fi in certain places, but we did find a way to turn your laptop into a wireless router, and we're going to teach you how to do it right now.
DIY it.
Turn your laptop into a makeshift hotspot. It is a pretty simple process, and all you have to do is just not move away from your TV for a couple of minutes. Well, here is what you'll need. You need a laptop that can handle a wired network connection and also a wireless network. To start, plug your network cable into your laptop. Now get online and make sure you can actually surf. Then go to Network Places and click on the network connections. Right-click your wireless connection and choose Properties. Under Preferred Networks, click Add. Then on the network name, type in your preferred name for your hotspot. We will call ours, that's IT Spot. Under Network Authentication, change from Open to Shared, and just below it is the Data Encryption selection. Select Disable to share your internet connection to the world, or select WEP to secure your wireless network. When you are done, click OK, and your network should appear in this box called Preferred Networks. On the same page, click on Advanced and choose Computer-to-Computer Networks Only. Click Close. We are almost good to go, but we still need to do one more step, and that is to share our wired network connection so that the wireless network can link to the internet connection. Now navigate yourself back to the network connection page and right-click on Local Area Connection to access its properties. Now click on the Advanced tab. Under Internet Connection Sharing, check the box Allow other network users to connect through this computer's internet connection. And now click OK. You can check using your other internet devices to look at the list of available wireless network. You should be able to see your hotspot's name. Now click to connect. Now you can still stay connected even during your long coffee break.
Technology, when it works, it solves problems, it improves our lives, and really makes living so much easier. When it doesn't work, it creates a whole new set of headaches. But whenever you encounter new technology, keep an open mind and give it a try. Who knows? Could be the next best thing, or at least the best thing that could ever happen to you. I'm Timothy Go. That's it.
Good evening, I'm Melissa Hyak, and you're watching Primetime News on Channel News Asia. In the news tonight, have no doubts, China says it will slap sanctions on the US as warned if Washington proceeds with selling arms to Taiwan. The US president takes his economic message on the road to help small businesses, even as he directly engages Americans online. Anwar Ibrahim wants the Malaysian Prime Minister and his wife summoned to his sodomy trial, claiming they schemed against him. And Asia's largest show on aviation and defense takes off in Singapore today, with exhibitors forecasting uncertain economic weather ahead.
Onboard navigation computer has received and logged flight plan from Project.
This week on That's IT, we show you the latest tech wizardry unveiled at the Singapore Airshow. You can now stay connected, even while flying. Also, what does Bobby Tonelli carry around in his IT bag?
But first, it's almost Valentine's Day, and if you want to propose to your special someone on Valentine's Day, we'll show you some geeky ways to propose that we promise she will never forget. After all, geeks deserve to live happily ever after too.
It's my world.
Proposal 2.0. That's what Michael Wise-Malik's girlfriend saw when she went on Google Maps. Michael got his colleagues from Google Street View Car in the US to tip him off when the Street View Car went out to take pictures. For the uninitiated, the Street View Car takes snapshots of the road, allowing you to view an actual picture of the street. All Michael needed to do next was alert his girlfriend Leslie to those coordinates on Google Maps. And there he stood with his banner screaming Proposal 2.0. Marry me, Leslie. Now how's that as a geek alternative to saying, will you marry me? And if you have your own weekly podcast, why not make full use of it? Tobin Kuzahir, host of NoobTube, a weekly gaming podcast, stole some airtime to propose to his girlfriend, Adrian. It was coincidentally the 50th episode of the gaming podcast.
Hey guys, over the past year I'm sure you've heard me talk about my girlfriend Adrian. She's just about the best woman a gamer guy could have. She tolerates my obsessiveness and sometimes she even plays right along with me. And not only that though, she's smart, she's beautiful, she's funny, and she's just about the best thing that ever happened to me. So I've been thinking, the only better thing than the perfect girlfriend is having the perfect wife. So Adrian, will you marry me? Say yes. Well, this is awkward.
Well, awkward it may be, but you must have caught the episode because a year later, both Tobin and Adrian tied the knot. Maybe I can do that on this show too. Over in Asia, our geeks are also doing us proud. Alvin Lim met Rachel Chan at a Singapore youth online portal where they were both colleagues. After dating for 3 years, Alvin decided to pop the question. Rachel had earlier mentioned having a different type of marriage proposal, and so Alvin started planning one. It was a process that would take him 3 to 4 months.
I started thinking of how I can do it online, beyond just like maybe MSN and so on, which might seem a bit like cheesy. So so something more dramatic and bigger. So what I did was that I went to approach a lot of different major websites, like a few blog networks as well as news portal, and I got them to put banners for me. Actually, I designed all the banners, everything. And I think the value of the ads that they gave me, although it ran just for a day, I think it is like 4-digit figure, worth of banner ad runs.
The online viral marketing worked. Bloggers jumped in to help, reposting banners on their blogs. These banners ask whoever who knew Rachel to visit Alvin's blog. Well, Rachel started receiving SMSs from friends telling her to check Alvin's blog where the first clue was, in the form of a video. The video would lead to a mutual friend who would then pass her a present and a second clue.
It was very exciting. It was as if the whole world was into the proposal and watching the ongoings of how successful Alvin would be.
Throughout her birthday, with the help of close friends, Alvin gave 5 clues and presents to Rachel. And along the way, Alvin received updates from his friends. He would then tweet about Rachel's progress.
So throughout the day, I kept getting SMSs like, hurry up, you know, Alvin's waiting for you at the end. Have you gotten to the second clue yet? And so on.
Those people that were doing the coordination, they also snitch, so they will call me after she solved it so that I can post things online. Yeah, so that you'll go and the rest of our friends who are probably not following her or with me, they can actually read the content online.
The 5 clues led Rachel to Alvin, who then proposed. That's IT attended Rachel and Alvin's engagement party held in January this year. They had their wedding solemnization in February, and get this, on Jetstar's inaugural flight to Shantou. Alvin had written in to the airline to get permission to hold his wedding on board.
There were mixed responses.
Yeah.
Some people who commented on his blog said, why go through all this trouble? Why don't you just hide the ring in a cake or a glass of champagne and invite her to a candlelit dinner and then pop the question when she, you know, chews on something hard. So some people just don't appreciate this sort of gesture and prefer something simpler. Yeah, so I guess there were a lot of mixed responses. Well, some guys, like one of his friends who had just gotten married, said that his wife was bugging him. Why weren't you so romantic for me? Why was it so simple for us?
You either love him or hate him. Guys like us will hate him, but women will go for the latter. And airlines these days, they do more than just take you from point A to B. Alvin and Rachel, case in point. Coming up next, the latest from the 2010 Singapore Airshow that promises you'll no longer be bored on board.
No brakes to Toyota's troubles. The automaker launches another worldwide vehicle recall, pulling over this time its hybrid models. At the same time, lawsuits are piling up against it in the US. The details on Primetime News.
Brings you the most roaring tiger year.
On Sun Tzu, War on Business, James Sun is in Singapore. He takes on Malcolm Davis, owner of the Prince of Wales pub, who arrived at the battlefield unprepared for his enemies.
Do you want to be an owner of a bar or just hang out at the bar?
I'm not the cliche bar owner.
No, I understand. I'm not saying that.
Can Malcolm navigate his way to victory? Sun Tzu, War on Business, tonight at 9:30, exclusively on Channel News Asia.
This series is brought to you by Franklin Templeton Investments. Gain from our perspective. There have been plenty of stir-ups in the judging panel for American Idol Season 9.
What was that?
First, Paula dropped out and was replaced by Ellen. Then Simon says he's leaving too. But not just yet.
I like that.
Now that Ellen's finally showing up for work, Simon shows up an hour late. And then...
Again, break down inside.
Can American Idol get any more dramatic than this?
I worked so hard.
Find out in your next episode tomorrow and Thursday, 10:30 on 5.
What makes a volunteer? This is a gathering of like-minded people from Singapore and China to discuss the issues surrounding volunteerism in the 21st century. A candid session to shape behaviors of individuals and corporate bodies. Tune in to the highlights of Expo 2010 Shanghai China Forum, Volunteerism as a Way of Life. Monday, 9:30 p.m.
This program is brought to you by Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Singapore and the St. Regis Singapore.
It's business.
The first commercial flight took off in 1919. And 3 years after that, the first in-flight movie was shown inside an aircraft in a flight that circled around Chicago.
Hello,
Hi. But it wasn't until the 1960s before in-flight entertainment actually became popular. And today, almost all full-service airlines will have at least basic TV, movies, or video games to keep you entertained in long-haul flights. So what's next in the in-flight entertainment business, and how will aviation companies actually keep us entertained while we're in the middle of a flight? Let's find out. Defense technology was the order of the day at this year's Singapore Airshow. The 6-day event saw more than 800 exhibitors from 40 countries. And more than 60% of the booths showcased the latest defense technology. But those didn't interest us. We were here to hunt for the latest in consumer technology. What do you normally do when you are on board a long-haul flight? Reach for the in-flight entertainment console, of course. Most commercial airlines now come equipped with in-flight entertainment, or IFE. And it seems these days IFEs are getting bigger, wider, and interactive.
We see more and more passengers, and especially the young generation, have the wish or the request, the demand for being more active, proactive with the in-flight entertainment. Not only watching a movie, but also being proactive with game, being proactive with the other passenger. And we have developed some application like in-seat chat that you can interact between passengers during the flight.
With in-seat chat, passengers can text one another using their IFE sets without moving around. For companies like Thales, the service under its Top Series system is based on internet technology. And with this technology, passengers can also send emails, text messages, and access social networking sites like Facebook and Twitter. This means you can stay connected even on board. This technology is actually not new to aviation companies. In April 2000, Boeing announced that it would offer high-speed connectivity to commercial planes under their brand Connection. The service made its debut on a Lufthansa flight in 2004. Singapore Airlines adopted it a year later. It boasted its first in-flight live streaming TV on board, and programming varied with the geographical locations. Prices varied as well with the airlines. They range between $9.95 to $29.95 US, depending on usage. Users could pay either by credit card or frequent flyer points.
We had it on flights to Europe and a few other places in our network. And the passenger uptake was quite good on that. It was a very popular thing, both with business and leisure travelers. I mean, I've seen people using Skype on board, for example, to to make phone calls through the internet. People using it to surf the internet live while flying long haul to Europe, and it was very popular. But unfortunately, the service provider Boeing didn't sustain it.
Connection by Boeing didn't fly well with other airlines. It was not able to attract sufficient customers, and the service meant that there was additional weight for the hardware on board the planes. In August 2006, Boeing discontinued the service. How do you provide such connectivity at a justifiable cost? Perhaps the answer now lies with the telcos and internet service providers.
The service providers nowadays are giving the airlines more options in terms of how they may want to price things, and they're looking at tie-ups with internet service providers, for example. So you could have the same internet service provider at home as you do while surfing in the sky. So you could have billing like roaming for your mobile phone, for example.
Previously, the people are worried about interferencing of GSM cell phones on board aircraft with the aircraft environments. But the way it's implemented is that there are cells, what we call the picocell devices, will be installed on aircraft, and it would